Hello, my name is Emma, and I'm back. I haven't made a video in about 2 months, and all I can say is that school is a thing, and it has taken over my life, as school does. But I came back, and I'm doing an old favorite. I'm doing my favorite video that I do every year, or at least every year, meaning the past 2 years, and that video is a Little Less Lonely tag, which is a tag I created. If you haven't seen those videos, go have a watch. All about books that make us feel a little less alone. Normally, I have six or seven questions and about specific books and different genres that make us feel a little less alone. But I'm expanding it this year because this year has sucked. Oh my God, this has been as many people so beautifully put it, a trash can fire, a garbage fire of a year. There were other fires and trash things people have said, but it's just been a terrible year. And with this election and with everything that's been going on, art really matters. I don't know why I'm saying that because everyone knows that, but I wanted to expand it, and I wanted to not just do books, but do movies and music and TV shows that make us feel less alone. There are no questions. You just pick things that you love in different categories and talk about them. And I'm gonna try to tag people. I probably won't. I just want everyone to do it. I'll tag people on Twitter. Go on Twitter, everybody. And then if I don't tag you, just do it anyway, because why am I yelling? Stop that, Emma. Okay, let's just start with books, because books, this is the channel, is about books. First book is a book that I've talked about ad nauseum, and that is The Magicians by Lev Grossman. I read this book when I was 15 years old, and when I was the literal worst. I was so annoying and pretentious and just kind of rude, and I read this book, and I was like, Quentin is me. I am Quentin. What? And I've never connected more with a book, quite honestly. I read this book, and it changed my life. It made me a reader. It made me love stories. It made me love magic. This is my Harry Potter, and I know for some of you that is blasphemy, but that's just how it turned out. The Magicians did that for me. Like many people with Harry Potter, and I do love Harry Potter, The Magicians did that for me. I love this book. I love the whole series. I love Quentin's expansive journey of growing up. It's great, and it's wonderful, and it makes me so happy, and it makes me feel so hopeful. Next we have Furiously Happy by Jenny Lawson, the only book about mental illness that has ever made me both laugh and cry. This is a memoir about Jenny Lawson and her struggles with mental health, but it's also a celebration of being a human and dealing with life, and was profoundly impactful for me, and accepting the fact I have OCD and accepting the fact that I have anxiety and depression and all of those other things. It made me feel nicer to myself. It made me feel nicer to my brain and to the person that I am, and it just is such a great book. And if you are able and you struggle with mental health, this book is perfection. Okay, so next we have Emma by Jane Austen. People ask me what my favorite book is, and I say Emma. And I say Emma partly because it's kind of funny, because my name is Emma, and I'm like, oh, I'm selfish. Emma. But Emma probably is my favorite book. I do know why. I watched the first adaptation of Emma, or the one with Kate Beckinsale, when I was pretty young, and the story has always been a favorite. I love Clueless. And then a few years ago, probably like 5 or 6 years ago, I actually read the book, and I had read Pride and Prejudice, and I think I had read Sense and Sensibility, and I was on to Emma. And I had high expectations, but this book blew me away. Emma Woodhouse has one of the best character arcs in books ever. She starts off as a sort of selfish person, this person who's very unaware, lacks perspective, and by the end she becomes a more fully realized human. She becomes a person who is aware of other people and is still learning and growing. It's also got Mr. Knightley, and I think Mr. Knightley's pretty great. He's also kind of damaged and has problems, but together they're great, and I just love this book. It's funny and warm and lovely, and just I love Emma. I love it. I'm saying my name, but I love myself, but I also love this book. Next we have Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. I read this book freshman year of college, the first semester, and Kath was me. I was Kath. Kath was a lot of people probably the freshman year of college. Kath is great. I love her. I love how, again, she has problems, but she wears that problems, and she wears those problems, and she learns how to cope with them, and it's just a great book, and I don't have anything else to say except for when I read it when I was 18, a freshman in college, I remember being like, wow. Damn. Finally, we have On Beauty by Zadie Smith. This is one of the best books I have ever read, and I don't know if any book has really come close to surmounting. It's been close, like Michael Chabon's The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay was close. Bone Clocks by David Mitchell, that was close. Where'd You Go, Bernadette? Close. There are books that have come close, but On Beauty is beautiful. It is the most beautifully written book I have ever read. I don't care. It just is. It is just perfection. And if you haven't read this book, you need to go read it. You need to go read it. It's this amazing intersection of race and culture and academia, and it's just, Zadie Smith. Right? Zadie Smith. Okay, next, we're on to albums. I hope this video isn't too long. Okay, the first album is Blue by Joni Mitchell. Really, anything by Joni Mitchell, but specifically Blue. Blue is an album that is important for a lot of people. It's important for a lot of women. But it's just, I mean, I remember being about 13, and I discovered her song Both Sides Now, which is not from Blue. It's from her first album, I do believe. And I just was like, whoa. If I want to cry, I listen to that song. If I want to cry for a long time, I listen to Blue. People talk about Joni Mitchell a lot, and they talk about how Joni Mitchell taps into something, and she really does. To quote Emma Thompson, a favorite actress of mine, in the movie Love Actually, Joni Mitchell teaches, Joni Mitchell has taught your cold English wife how to feel. And Joni Mitchell taught a 13-year-old girl how to actualize her feelings and how to understand them a little better and see that they could be poetry and art and beauty. And I love Joni Mitchell. Next we have Follow Me Down by Sarah Jarosz. I've literally listened to Sarah Jarosz for nearing 10 years, and I still mispronounce her last name. So I'm a true fan. Follow Me Down is, I believe, her third or second album. It is amazing. And when I listen to it, I love all of her albums, but when I listen to Follow Me Down, I think about being in high school. I think about being really happy and being really connected to where I'm from, which is the Appalachian Mountains, and feeling like nature and life and beauty and flowers. And it sounds cheesy and kind of dumb, but I listen to her and I feel like I'm 5 years old and I'm sitting with my dad listening to bluegrass music on a Sunday morning, and we're driving around and we're getting lost in the mountains, and that's what I think about. And I love her so much, and she's so important to me, and her albums are so important to me. By the way, she's an Americana musician. Amazing, super talented. Next we have really anything by the Punch Brothers. The Punch Brothers are a band that Chris Thile, who is also my favorite current host of Prairie Home Companion. I love, again, bluegrass. Love it. I grew up with bluegrass, and Punch Brothers is just, they're amazing. They're so amazing. And if you like bluegrass and Americana, and you haven't heard Chris Thile and you haven't heard the Punch Brothers, you should. It's the best mandolin playing ever. Chris Thile is fantastic. Okay, Ella Fitzgerald. The entirety of Ella Fitzgerald is hugely important to me. I like singing jazz music, and Ella Fitzgerald is just queen of jazz, and everything that she does and everything that she did, it was just, I mean, beautiful, and hits a chord, and just everything by Ella Fitzgerald ever. Next we have Tapestry by Carole King, which kind of relates to the Joni Mitchell thing. Tapestry is an album that my mom and my mom's sisters listened to, and it was passed down along to me, and I love her. Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young's album Deja Vu. This is maybe my favorite album of all time. Specifically, Almost Cut My Hair is my favorite song of all time. That's another album that makes me think of home. My dad played it for me when I was around 15, and he gave it to me for Christmas, and it has been, I don't know, it's just, if you love harmonies, if you like the Staves, if you like First Aid Kit, if you like the Fleet Foxes, etc., listen to them, because their harmonies are amazing. The guitar playing, the music, it's just so good. It's so good. And then finally, anything by Simon & Garfunkel, sort of in the same vein. Simon & Garfunkel, my dad listened to it, therefore I listened to it. I also really love Watsky. Specifically, Cardboard Castles was important to me when I was in high school. Okay, on to movies and TV. I'm sorry if this video is rambly, but I have lots of feelings and I want to share. I only picked 4 because, or I only picked 5 because there's too many. There's too many movies. I was a huge movie nerd in high school, movie snob, really. So, you know. Amelie. So excited for the musical with Philippa Soo. So excited. Amelie, When Harry Met Sally, Bridget Jones, Bridesmaids, because Bridesmaids is just awesome. It's one of the best movies ever. It's funny and it's also just real, and I love it. And then Ghostbusters, the original Ghostbusters. I like the new Ghostbusters, and I grew up watching Ghostbusters. Huge fan of Ghostbusters. Huge fan. I like both. I think they're both great. I don't know. Why are we still talking about this? Okay, and then TV shows. I picked 3 because there are also too many TV shows that I love. But number 1 will always be Parks and Rec. Parks and Rec is my happy place. Parks and Rec is a show that I watch when I want to feel joy and I want to feel like there are possibilities and optimism and good people in the world. Parks and Rec is just, yeah, Parks and Rec is my favorite show of all time, and I don't believe that any show will surpass that. Number 2, Gilmore Girls. I started watching Gilmore Girls when I was a very young child, when it was on the WB. Not very young, but pretty young. And I remember being like 12 or 13 and asking my mom for the box sets because I had found them somewhere. And she got them all for me, and I sat and I put all the DVDs in, and I watched all of it, and I just, you know, God, didn't every girl want to be, or every girl and boy want to go to Yale when they watch Rory go to Yale? I definitely did. I still do. And I don't even want to go to Yale. I don't even go to Yale. I'm a senior at a completely different college. And then, finally, it's a tie between Pushing Daisies and 30 Rock. Very different shows. Love them both. Okay, so that is my art that makes me feel a little less alone. And I'd love to know art that makes you feel a little less alone. I'm going to tag people on Twitter, and I love for everyone to participate. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I promise I won't be a stranger anymore. Love to you all.